Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Chatting Pitch. My name is Leslie, and...
My name is Matt, and today we've got someone else to introduce. Not just introduce, he's going to be with us for the entire episode.
What?
I know, Leslie. It's just so unexpected, unless you read the description, in which case it's totally expected. So with us, from the amazing podcast Random Top 5, we have Randy, California. Randy, thank you for joining us.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Please sit down. You don't need to stand.
I don't know what I'm doing now.
No, I don't need you to bow for me. Okay, thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, no problem. And this week we're going to be doing a very interesting one. We haven't really talked about this topic before, and it is time travel movies. And we're specifically talking about what would happen if time travel movies cross over from one another. So we're talking about your Marty McFlys. We're talking about your Doc Browns. We're talking about your... That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you, Marty. You know, the...
yeah, don't forget Doctor Who.
Don't forget Doctor Who, yeah. Don't forget Van Damme's Time Cop. You know, that's another one.
Already we got a crossover.
Yeah. Anyway,
Time Bandits.
Time Bandits. Which one's Time Bandits? I forget.
That's the one. Oh, that's the one where I saw half the movie and I forgot the first half of the movie.
Well, we're off to a great start.
I don't remember a whole lot. I just remember them like in a bedroom and time traveling within a bedroom or something. And there's a pirate ship at some point. Yeah, that's not that. We'll leave that one out.
Are you sure there's some dream you had, Randy? Are you sure you weren't dreaming?
Sorry, Leslie, what was that?
Did you not hear me?
There's I don't know if it's the same for you, Matt, but there's like a little delay if not delay, but like I'll hear like you'll speak for a little bit and then the mic will come on again. But right. I think that's only on Zoom when it's switching back and forth, you know, between people. Is that the same for you, Matt?
Yeah, I think it's a Zoom thing. So Leslie, if you go to talk and then I go, then you won't come through because I've made that noise.
Yeah. Well,
but you'll have it on your end, so I think it should be
it's
good.
All good.
Right? Yeah.
Anyway, here's the jingle. And we're back. So,
guys, that was an incredible jingle. Thank you so much. Wow.
No problem.
I'm blown away.
Thank you.
We're glad you enjoyed it. We put together, we made that remix especially for this episode. That's just me creating more work for Leslie Way. We're really glad that you enjoyed it.
Now we're going to do a remix? Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining the podcast, Randy. It's been an absolute honor to be actually... We actually did an episode for his podcast, if you guys want to check it out. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in the outro. But here's the main portion of the episode. And let's talk about time travel movies. What are your favorite time travel movies? Go. Randy?
My all-time favorite time travel movie is Groundhog Day with Bill Murray.
You're hitting the sweet spot for Matt there. He loves Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I can totally get behind that.
I love a story where, you know, the main character develops as a person, you know, becomes a better man and gains some skills along the way. You know, I think in the beginning of Groundhog Day, I don't want to say loser, but he was a loser, but, you know, on top of that, he was a anchorman. And Matt, what happened in that movie?
Oh, he starts off as a horrible person. Sort of semi-successful, I guess. But then, as you say, he picks up those skills and he also picks up, I guess, a bit of empathy. Although, one thing about that movie I never really understood is what is it that brings him out of the time loop?
Yeah, you're right.
I guess it's
such a it's a question that's valid for sure because a lot of movies are based off of Groundhog Day. There's a lot of Groundhog Day imitators out there, you know, where you repeat the same day over and over again. And a recent one I watched was with a couple, and it was just made like last year, I think.
Was that Palm Springs?
It was on Hulu, I believe.
The Andy Samberg and I forget the lady's name, but was that the one where it's like a rom-com but Groundhog Day?
Yes, and they actually had an explanation, like their own kind of explanation in there. So I kind of like that.
We actually don't have that. We don't have Hulu in the UK. We've got Amazon Prime, and apparently that's coming out next month. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Very cool.
But let's just not talk about that, because otherwise it'll spoil it for either of us. So thanks for that, Randy.
You got it. You got it.
Actually, no, we don't care if you spoil it for our listeners. But man, if you wreck it for us,
If you wreck it for us, we're gonna be all Wreck-It Ralph up in you.
Hey, I've got the utmost respect for you two. Okay, nothing will be spoiled today.
Okay.
That hasn't already been spoiled.
yeah.
But Matt, what's your favorite time travel movie? Do you think are you going to agree with Randy?
Oh, Groundhog Day is definitely up there for me. It's Groundhog Day, or Back to the Future, man. It
Back to
just
the
can't
Future is
be
there.
discounted. The whole trilogy. I don't think there's a weak link in there. There's ones that people might prefer.
You don't think so? I personally think number 3 was the weak link. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
Because it kind of stuck out like a sore thumb for me. Like the first one, 1950s. Second one, we go way in the future, and then the number 3, they said, what new things can we do now?
Yeah, no one really talks about number 3, really, unless you're talking about the trilogy.
Yeah, I know. And it was like they just went and did like a Western, and it felt like they were just stuck in the Western for longer than it should have been. I still liked the movie, but I just think it was a weak link in the trilogy. Do you have anything to say about that, Matt? You look very disapproved of my opinion.
I mean, no. I would say it is the weakest of the 3. But I normally with maybe a film series that's just a trilogy, just those 3 movies. Normally, the third one is
not as good.
Well, not normally, but sometimes there's a real dip in quality. And I'd say Back to the Future 3. Maybe it's not as good as the first 2, but I'd say it's still up there.
Okay.
I especially like the bit where Doc Brown explains that they can't do anything that will affect the timeline, and then it cuts to the next scene and they're planning a train heist, which I quite liked.
Yeah.
One thing, I rewatched this whole trilogy within the last couple months. My friend got me a DVD set of the trilogy, and one thing I didn't notice in the third movie, there were like Biff. They played different characters. I didn't realize they were in the movie. Like I didn't realize they were the same character. Like
Really?
Marty's dad, or no, himself. He played himself many times. I only thought he was in the one. I didn't know he was playing himself. So he did a good job for little Randy that didn't really couldn't tell the difference between the Marty McFly that went back in time and the Marty McFly that lived in that era.
Right.
I did not know.
And does he play his own kids as well?
Yeah, he does.
He does play his own kids, in the second one, right?
Yeah.
Are we
That's
talking about fruit,
please.
please?
That scene, and it's
I want to say I noticed it, but I'll be honest, I don't think I noticed that was him. I think as a kid, I was like, that's another actor.
The thing is, when I was watching it, I kind of was a little bit of a late bloomer with Back to the Future. Like I always knew of Back to the Future, but it was only until I was in my late teens to early adults when I properly watched it. And yeah, it's pretty obvious as a grown person to see that Michael J. Fox is the one wearing the wig going, "Dad, is that you?" Like around the corner.
Why is Michael J. Fox playing Michael Jackson?
Because their names are very similar, that's why.
You're right.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. I mean, I think as a kid you do think those things, don't you? When you're a little kid and you watch those films, some of those things do go over your head. I mean, I remember seeing Monty Python for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I watched one of the animations and it terrified me. And for the rest of my childhood, Monty Python to me was a horror movie. And every time
really?
I come across, the little VHS, the little videotape, the thing with the scary man on. And then it was only till later where it's like, it turns out it's this hilarious thing.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Some of the animations are crazy, but as a child, terrified me to no end.
No, I had the same kind of experience with a different franchise, and that was Aliens. But that was because my dad showed it to me when I was 3. and I was like,
Oh wow.
I can't, like, I was terrified of James Cameron's Aliens for the longest time, and then it was only until I was like late teens I realized, oh, okay, they were just animatronics, they weren't real. So, like, even a 15-year-old me was probably just terrified of seeing that. But yeah, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, thanks, dads. You losers. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, guys. But for me, it was. Have you guys heard of The Outer Limits?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it.
It's like a sci-fi show, almost like Twilight Zone. But for me, as a kid, it was very scary because their whole intro song was, "This is not fake. This is all real." They say that in the intro right before it's going to be like a horror TV show episode. And as a kid, you're like, "Oh no, this is actually real." And I think it was when I was out of high school when I realized, "Oh, that was fake." So
Yeah.
if you watch the intro to Outer Limits, it says, "Please don't, turn the channel. What you're watching is absolutely real." Yeah, that scared me a lot.
Yeah, because as a kid, you just take it at face value, don't you? Oh, it must be true.
Yeah.
But also, the man's telling me not to turn over, so I can't turn the scary thing off.
And I don't know if they said this in there, but I think they said something like, "Don't tell your parents or this will happen to you." Like that's the feeling. At least that's the feeling I got.
Some shady business from those producers talking to those kids. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. But I think there was like a similar thing with the Blair Witch Project where no one knew whether or not that original film back in, was it 2001 or something, or 1998, something like that, around that sort of time, people couldn't tell whether or not that was real footage or not, because at the beginning it was very much said, oh, this was found footage.
And I think that was the one where they really, was that the one where they really committed to it as well?
I think so.
Where the cast didn't do press.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, in the movie, those characters had died. The characters that died, their actors didn't do press. And they didn't, I think it was Blair Witch. It might have been something else. But I know, real commitment.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about Blair Witch Project. We're talking about time travel movies. I guess you guys have talked about your favorite time travel movies, so it's only fair that I talk about my favorite time travel movie. And I think it's a bit of a newer one, and I think I'm not sure if it constitutes as time travel, but I'm going to say it is anyway. But have you guys seen Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal?
I don't think I have actually.
You haven't seen it? Oh, okay.
That's him on a train, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Jake Gyllenhaal on a train, and the premise of the movie is that Jake Gyllenhaal has to relive the same 8 minutes to try and find the bomber on the train, and it's like Groundhog Day, except it's all in his mind. Ooh! So it's kind of like time, but there's also like quantum physics and stuff going on. That's probably one of my favorite time travel movies because it's like taking the time travel element but kind of repurposing it in a different setting, and it's got that kind of Twilight Zone-esque storyline as well. But yeah, I really, really liked Source Code. Matt, you've seen that before, haven't you?
I have. I enjoyed it, I have to say, up until the ending for me. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But
what was your issue with the ending without spoiling it?
I was gonna say I think I have seen this, but it didn't. It seems like it didn't leave a mark. But the thing is, I want to say, I'm sorry. I think I'm still a maybe because this. I'm looking at pictures right now. It's not really ringing a bell.
Okay. Well, my opinion doesn't matter. Let's move on to the next project, the next topic. We're not here to talk about our favorite time travel movies. Yeah, good one, guys. We're talking about what would happen if these time travel movies cross overed, and I think that is probably the best time to have the mid-podcast jingle, which is I never address it. I've never addressed it until today because it's a very special day. Here it is. Okay, so How do we approach this? We haven't written really many notes. We're just kind of trying to improvise here.
Yeah.
What is your ideal? Like, why don't we start with characters? Like, what would happen if so and so from one time travel movie met so and so from another time travel movie? Who wants to go first?
I would definitely pick Bill Murray first,
Okay.
from Groundhog Day, and then let's see. I'm trying to think of other time travel movies.
I mean, you could have.
Does it have to be a time travel movie or?
Oh yeah, that's the idea. Like we want to stick to that one genre.
Yeah, gotcha.
What about you, Matt?
We could have Bill Murray living day after day, but instead of falling in love with Andy McDowell, he instead has to fight the Terminator.
I like that. Because he can gain those martial arts skills and gun knowledge and all that.
Yeah.
I think he could do it too.
I actually, you know what? I just had a bit of a brainwave, but like I do like the Terminator thing. We can throw him in there. But what if we combined all three of our favorite time travel movies and like just mashed them together and see what would happen? Like, say for
That's
instance,
a good idea.
Bill Murray from Groundhog Day meets Marty McFly and Doc Brown somehow, and then at the same time they're on a train and they have to try and find the bomber.
Oh my god! So Marty McFly and Doc Brown have just stolen the train in Back to the Future Part 3, but they get on it. It turns out, oh my goodness, Jake Gyllenhaal and Bill Murray are the only passengers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bill Murray's trying to do a report on the train, and you guys are interrupting him in the background. And he's coming over to you guys, and just he's angry at you. Basically, I think that's what would happen. Like, he would be aggressive towards you guys for messing up the shot.
I do want to know, like, which character from which movie will take more of a sort of primary focus, because they're all different, wildly different movies. Like, you've got sci-fi thriller, you've got sci-fi comedy, and then you've got another sci-fi comedy.
Yeah.
But no, Back to the Future is less of a comedy than anything. It's more of like a comedy drama, isn't it? I'd say.
Yeah, it's an adventure.
Adventure, yeah. So which,
I would say the Doc. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
No, it's fine. I was going to say, like, which one would be the more forefront of the three movies?
I don't know if you... I think we'd also have to decide how is the time loop working. Because you've got Bill Murray and he loops every 24 hours. And then you've got Jake Gyllenhaal looping every 8 minutes. So does that mean Bill Murray gets halfway through his report and then in the background Jake Gyllenhaal just like clips and then he's just suddenly back in his seat?
He just keeps like going back to the same 8 minutes.
Okay, so immediately Jake Gyllenhaal is out of the picture. Jake is out. I would say, I want to say Doc, and I feel like it would be around Doc and Bill Murray's character, because I feel like Marty McFly. I don't know. I feel like he's not part of this one. It's Doc and Bill Murray, and I might be jumping the gun here, but possible romance right there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just like they fall in love, day after day. Well, actually, Doc would just be he's not stuck in a time loop, Doc. So it would just be Bill Murray trying to that one day. Bill Murray's trying to woo Doc Brown.
Normally I've got 10,000 years to sleep with them, but now I've just got one day. Also, Jake Gyllenhaal's it.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. This guy's like freaking out over nothing, It could also be Marty McFly and Bill Murray, It could be...
It's a love triangle.
Well, actually, sorry. He is 17 in the movie, isn't he? Marty McFly. He's underage.
Yeah, we should probably steer clear from that kind of topic. Let's just try not to...
Leslie, feel free to cut that part out.
Okay, so Matt, you said that the reason why they're on the train is because they're trying to do a heist on that train, right? But they don't know that there's a bomb on that train. But Jake Gyllenhaal, I think the lore behind that was that he's going back into like the quantum realm and reliving the same 8 minutes, but it's not exactly the same time frame. So like every time Jake Gyllenhaal goes back in time, he's actually slipping into another parallel universe. It's kind of like the same sort of time travel science from Endgame as well. Spoiler alert, just in case. Every time he goes back, he's not actually seeing the same version of Doc Brown and Marty McFly. So in Doc Brown and Marty McFly and Bill Murray's point of view, he's just disappeared.
Oh, right.
And he'll never come back after 8 minutes. So this is like an 8-minute cameo.
So in Jake Gyllenhaal's point of view, it's ordinary Doc Brown and Marty and Bill Murray. And then he goes into an alternate universe where they've all got, giant rainbow afros. And then there's another one where they're all chickens. And then there's another one where they're all robots. Are you saying something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And somewhere along the line, Terminator comes in somehow. What's he doing there?
Oh my God. He goes into an alternate universe where all three are different models of the Terminator.
Oh,
yeah.
That's deep.
Hey, I'm the T-500.
Played by Michael J. Fox when he was 17. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that idea where everyone's just a robot.
But how does it end? Like, how do we get to the climax of the film? Any ideas here?
So could it be that every time Doc Brown and Marty try to time travel back to 1985, they actually just travel back to the start of the day because Bill Murray's time loop has caught them in. And then you've got the added wrinkle of Jake Gyllenhaal every 8 minutes just resets.
And it's almost kind of like, how have you ever seen, I'm not sure if you've seen Memento, Randy, the Christopher Nolan film?
No, I don't think I have.
Really good film, by the way, but it's like, it's about this guy who's got short-term memory loss, and the movie goes backwards, so every 10 minutes, he's forgotten everything that he was doing. So I'm assuming that is kind of like the Jake Gyllenhaal's kind of thing, where every time he goes back in time, he's like, I'm back here again. But then everyone else, or maybe it's the other way around. Oh, this time travel stuff is really frying my brain.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Just like how Bruce Willis said in Looper.
It's like an egg.
Yeah. Have you seen
Looper? I've seen Looper.
Let's stick him in there for some reason. Bruce Willis is the conductor.
Actually, you know what? Looper is actually a pretty damn good film. Like,
Get on the train.
I really liked Looper. Maybe that's kind of on par with Source Code for me. But I haven't seen that one in a long time. But I just remember Looper actually has quite a lot of loopholes in
Beautiful.
Sorry, no, not loopholes, plot holes. But I tried to make a joke out of the play on words. Let's just ignore that. Leslie, cut that bit out later.
We'll play some music under it.
Yeah. That solves everything, especially on my podcast.
Yeah, but there was quite a lot of plot holes in Looper, apparently, but nothing that kind of stood out to me to ruin the film for me. I still enjoyed it quite a bit. In fact, I think we watched it in the cinema together, didn't we, Matt?
Yeah. I don't know if time travel movies are just one of those that it's going to have loopholes. There are going to be plot holes.
Yeah.
It's just, you let it go and you let the film happen. You accept it for what it is, I guess.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Bruce Willis tried to tell Joseph Gordon-Levitt, i.e. the audience, that you just don't have to worry about any of the specifics about this. If you want to enjoy the movie, just roll with it. And that is exactly what we're going to try and do with our pitch. So what happens with the train? I need to know.
So,
I think...
Is there a bomb on the train, Leslie?
If we're going by Jake Gyllenhaal's reality, yes. Or Doc Brown and Marty McFly is just like, what? Who's this dude that keeps disappearing every 8 minutes? There's no bomb on this train. Maybe that's the angle.
Okay. It's either that or we need to find Bill Murray's quest. So Randy, I don't know about you. I can't think of what his quest would be on this. He's on a train. He's in the West.
Yeah, like what will break him out of the time loop? What does he have to do? What kind of moral, improvements does he have to go through?
Okay, yeah.
I guess on the train, maybe there's because he's how in Groundhog Day there's always something he's getting better at. So maybe he's getting better at
shoveling coal.
Yeah, he goes to the front of the train and he's like, check this out, and he shovels all the coal in 20 minutes. What normally would take an hour took him 20 minutes, and the train conductor is blown away.
So this is the old timey-wimey train, not the modern double-decker train. That's
No
Jake Gyllenhaal's
modern trains in this
Okay.
world. Yeah, this is a flex. You know, Bill Murray, he's flexing, and then he has the shovel in his hand, right? So the train's traveling, I want to say pretty fast. He throws the shovel out of the train, and it saves someone's life. Like it ricochets a bullet out of the air or something that would have killed somebody. You know what I mean? So how he knew that bullet was there, it would have just taken, I don't know, millions of loops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biff Tannen's trying to rob someone.
Yeah.
And Bill Murray, for 10,000 years tries to save their life.
After 1,000, he notices, hey, there's something going on in that town. You know, that 1 second that they fly by a town, he's like, hey, someone has a gun in that town. You know, the 3,000th one, and so he just like spends 10,000 analyzing that one scene,
and in the meantime gets really good at shoveling coal. So he just shovels it all in, and then just
he's got to shovel the coal to see the scene.
Yeah, because he's got to get there quick enough because the train's slowing down.
Exactly. You got to speed it up, or maybe I don't know, cause something to happen to slow it down for a millisecond.
And he works out that the speed he has to go at in order to reach the town at the right moment is 88 miles per hour.
Exactly.
88 miles per hour. Yeah, it's come full circle.
There's your movie.
There it is, folks.
Yeah.
Jerry Bruckheimer, Donnie Simpson.
Yeah, we can slap on a to be continued at the end.
I have a serious question for you too. Aren't you worried people are going to steal your ideas? Because this is quality stuff right here.
No, because every time we record an episode and we put it out there, that's already copyrighted. So we've got patented on these ideas. And yeah.
Excellent.
We're lawyered up, baby.
Yeah, we've got...
I'm crossing out my notes. Try to steal these guys' idea. This is crossed out, so you guys are safe. You won't be hearing from me, guys.
We saw what you were trying to do.
We've got 10 lawyers in the back.
Once the lawyers are involved, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a perfect movie. What would the name of the movie be?
Okay.
Because I'm picturing mashing up all the names of the movies together. Or it could just be called Time Train.
Back to the Groundhog Code. He's got to hack into the Groundhog. He's got to make it winner.
Yeah.
Day of the Train Shovel Bullet. And people will be like, what's this movie about a bullet? And then they'll find out at the very end that Bill Murray saved someone's life. And the moment the bullet hit the shovel, that's when the time loop ended.
And everyone in the cinema is just, oh, I get it now.
I get
and then
it.
they all stand up and they applaud.
Yep.
How about this? It ricochets and it hits Marty McFly. And his last words are, Doc?
Why am I called Doc?
Yeah, that's good. I like it. All right, so we had two options. What was it? What was your one, Matt?
Oh, back to the Groundhog Code.
Back to the Groundhog Code. What was yours, Randy? Something about bullet
There's no way to know. The shovel that got hit by a bullet.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
train.
I think it was day of the train shovel bullet or something like what?
Day of the Train.
There you go. Beautiful.
It's almost similar to how Homer Simpson was trying to describe speed, where he's like, "Oh, it's the bus that could not slow down."
Yeah, the bus that couldn't slow down. Had to keep its speed over 50. And if its speed slowed down, it would explode. I think it was called the bus that couldn't slow down. So yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
genius.
Day of the train shovel
Yeah.
bullet.
And usually, what
There
we
we
do
go.
with the podcast is Matt is the official thumbnail editor, and every episode that we put out on YouTube, and we also use we use a podcasting distributor called Podbean, and you can upload custom thumbnails. You won't be able to see it if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. But Matt would often take the title of the movie, and he would take all the pictures of everyone in and kind of mash it all together in an abomination of some sort of movie poster that he's created. So we'll have that to
Beautiful.
look forward to. So yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait for that, Matt.
the pressure's on, Matt, to make the best movie poster of all time.
Day of the
Like you're
train
writing,
shovel
you're,
bullet.
Yeah, get
you're
that
writing
in
it
there.
down
You
in
don't
case you
want
forget.
I've got that written down now, so I don't forget.
Yeah, don't forget, Jake Gyllenhaal. He's doing his 8-minute thing. Doc and Brown and the shovel and the bullet. We've also got Bill Murray in there, and don't forget the old timey-wimey train and the coal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get all this down because I will forget.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
The correct pronunciation.
Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal every 8 minutes.
Cool.
Bill Murray. I'm very aware that you two are just watching and listening to me type. Bill Murray
Oh no, you're good.
throws a shovel. So Marty dies. Perfect.
I forgot about that part. Please make it epic. The Marty.
It's in the can. I'm just gonna have.
Oh, that's great. Where can I see the images you've already made?
You'll be able to see the images on YouTube because we upload every episode on there with the thumbnail.
Beautiful.
I'm thinking we should probably start an Instagram account or something and start uploading these thumbnails on there because I think
Yeah, we could do.
people probably would. I don't know what the demographic is like on Instagram. Like they're probably they're probably not looking for mashups of movie posters that Matt has designed on Photoshop.
Yeah.
We don't know. But there might be an audience out there for that. But we'd love to showcase those thumbnails more because they're works of art. I mean, if we did, what was it?
Yes, they are.
One of the episodes that we did, we came up with our very own Vin Diesel movie, and we just could not stop laughing at this idea of what was it? Because Vin Diesel is very much well known for wearing tank tops, right? So he doesn't have any sleeves.
Here we go. Give you a taste.
Oh, Matt's going to be showing. Matt's showing us.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'll bring up the one
That Will
that Leslie's
Smith
talking
one.
about. We won't go through them all. Here we go.
Yeah, so that's one of his posters that he's done. It's called the inversion
Nice.
paradox because we wanted to have someone who was the complete opposite of Vin Diesel. So we found an actor who was none other than famous Hollywood actor Greg Kinnear, who was from Stuck on You fame and Friends fame. And you'll see that he has nothing on his chest, but he's got only sleeves because that's the complete opposite of what Vin Diesel's wearing.
And I noticed he's got a big tattoo of chatting pitch.
just a plug there, and then just lots of fire
Yeah.
everywhere because that's what Vin Diesel movies are about: just explosions and fire and guns.
Yeah, so we'll have something like that for Marty dying.
Very cool. Very
But yeah.
cool. I like it. This is a great
thank
podcast,
you very much.
guys.
And I think that just about kind of wraps it. I mean, like, there's not really much else we can really talk about. We've reached the climax of the episode. Is there anything that you want to say? Now is your time to shine, Randy, to plug your podcast.
Yeah, kind of. I guess the last thing I'll say about our movie baby is that maybe this could be a tagline. Once the bullet hits the shovel, it's over.
Okay.
That's good. I like it.
Maybe
No,
it's
that's
an
good,
option.
man. That's
you
good,
know?
man. 100%.
But yeah, I do have a podcast called Random Top 5 that comes out every Tuesday, and the most recent episode is probably going to be with these guys, the chatting pitch guys here, Leslie and Matt. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast and making it
Hey, no problem.
very funny.
Well, it was great to go on there. Actually, this was our first collaboration with anyone, so it was actually quite nice to have. I think our podcasts are sort of similar in tone. What I really like about yours, Randy, is that you can have 30 minutes on. What was the one I listened to this morning? Was peanut butter snacks.
Yeah, you like that one?
Just 30 minutes on peanut butter snacks.
Yeah.
And it's just great that you can have 30 minutes on that and make it work.
Yeah. That guy loves peanut butter. And shout out to Henry. Henry, you've been shouted out from across the pond. They gave me permission to say that, okay? I have
you
permission
have
to say
absolute
that.
permission. And you're never allowed on this podcast ever again.
I also wanted to...
That's a joke. You can come back.
Sorry, Leslie.
Well, no, sorry.
was that,
No,
Leslie?
I made a joke and it completely blew over. I'm going to cut that out.
It's because you went completely silent. You were
Oh,
you were
really?
absolutely loving whatever you were saying,
Oh.
but I did not hear a word of it, mate. I'm so sorry.
I got to know what
Really?
this is,
Oh,
yeah.
I said, Randy, you're never allowed on this podcast again. And then And then
No, cut that out.
And
Cut
nobody
that out.
said anything, and I was like, okay, that joke backfired.
No. No, that's it's fair. It's fair. No, but I know it was a joke because I am a fantastic guest.
Yes.
You guys told me, and I have audio record of it, so I can always edit that into anything. But you guys were great on my podcast. I really liked. We did a list about. Wait, can we say on this podcast
Yeah,
what it was?
we can say on this podcast.
Yeah.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, and my list pales in comparison to their list. They had a fight over their list, which I see the scars, the emotional scars that have
deep down.
You guys, so your listeners, you're gonna hear two different stories from me. One was that I recorded this first. And then another one was that I recorded the other one first. The truth is I recorded mine first, and this is the second one.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of a trick in my episode where I pretend I was on their show already. But now that I'm on their show, this was a great show to be on. This is my favorite duo podcaster podcasting.
Or were you already on this podcast all along? Because of the whole time travel thing.
Recorded them both simultaneously.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, because of the shovel.
Yeah, because of the shovel. Time shovel.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to call it. Yeah.
Every time I see a bullet or a shovel now, I'm going to think of time traveling movies, and that's thanks to this podcast.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's about does it for the podcast. Let's do our usual outro thing. So you can find us on Twitter. Please follow us at Chatting Pitch for updates. We're also on every podcast platforms. So we're on your Spotify's, we're on your Apple Podcasts, we're on your random top 5 podcasts. Shout out to Randy, who's also currently present in this very podcast. And Matt. Is there anything else that you want to say for the outro?
Oh, yeah, just before we hit stop on the record, thank you, Randy, for joining us. Randy, California, random top 5.
Are you guys wondering about my name, Randy California, or just...
No, we're good. No, we're all right.
I will be honest, I did wonder about it, but I didn't want to ask. I thought it'd be rude.
People wonder about it, so I like to tell them. It's from The Office, basically. That's how I got it. Have you guys seen The Office, the American one?
I've seen bits of it, not all of it, but I've seen bits.
There's an episode where there's like a Robert California, and he was like kind of like a boss replacement, and he was kind of a jerk, a douchebag. Feel free to bleep that out. I don't know if that's a cuss word over there.
No, it's fine.
And it was like I just saw like he said Robert California, and I'm Randy California. That's pretty much, there's no like real association there, but because he just named himself Robert California, I was like, I'll name myself Randy California. And through doing podcasts and Googling myself, apparently I'm a singer too. I'm a famous musician. So when you guys Google Randy California, apparently I sing now. I play guitar.
Cool.
So.
Well,
It's all true.
Yeah.
He did. It's a shame it wasn't recording. Just what a song he did for us, for me and Leslie, before we hit record.
I was wondering why you guys stopped the record and restarted it. I'm like, why you guys can just cut it out, but it's
It's
okay.
we're not a music podcast.
No.
We'd love to have it in, but
Yeah.
I get it.
Anyway,
I mean, Randy California is a great name, Leslie, but I don't know if we could have an equivalent
no,
from
that would.
our. It just doesn't sound as good, does it?
You don't want to be
Matt England.
Leslie London and Matt Southampton.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Now I hear those names out loud. Yeah, sure. I'll be Matt Southampton.
So
Leslie Luton.
I've been
Why
Leslie
not?
Luton, and you've been.
You've got a good Titanic museum.
Yeah.
We'll take that.
Anyway, we can't wait for your
right.
next album, Randy, and we'll catch you next time. All right. Speak to you soon. Goodbye.
Chat with you chaps later.
And that's the end.